ARM templates, AzCopy commands, and backup policies. These are the questions that look easy, but have one critical detail you'll miss. 10 scenarios that test whether you really understand Azure deployment and data protection. Let's find your blind spots. Your company has an Azure account and a subscription. The subscription contains virtual networks with specific address spaces and subnets. The question asks whether a particular configuration or connectivity scenario is possible. The subscription also contains the virtual machines in the following table. The firewalls on all the virtual machines are configured to allow all ICMP traffic. You add the peerings in the following table. For each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true. VM2 can ping VM1. Options: A, yes, B, no. This question is checking if VNet peering will allow ICMP ping traffic between VNets that have overlapping address spaces. You are really deciding whether Azure will even allow useful connectivity when IP ranges overlap. Correct answer: B, no. Azure does not support VNet peering between VNets with overlapping IP address spaces because routing would be ambiguous. If address ranges overlap, even if you configure peering, traffic such as pings between the VNets will not work as expected. Why the other option is wrong? Option A assumes that peering will work even when the VNets have overlapping IP ranges, which breaks Azure networking rules and would make routing unpredictable. Quick memory tip: if VNet IP ranges overlap, think no valid peering, no cross VNet ping. Question 32. You have an Azure subscription named Subscription 1. Subscription 1 contains a resource group named RG1. RG1 contains resources that were deployed by using templates. You need to view the date and time when the resources were created in RG1. Solution: from the Subscriptions blade, you select the subscription and then click Resource Providers. Does this meet the goal? Options: A, yes, B, no. This question is about where in the portal you can see deployment history and creation timestamps for resources in a resource group. You must recognize which blade actually shows deployment history. Correct answer: B, no. To see when resources were created by templates in RG1, you should go to the RG1 Deployments blade, which shows deployment history and timestamps. The Resource Providers blade at subscription level only manages provider registrations. It does not show individual resource deployment times. Why the other option is wrong? Option A, saying yes, would incorrectly claim that the resource provider's view shows deployment timestamps, which it does not. Quick memory tip: to see when resources were created, go to Resource Group, Deployments, not subscription level resource providers. Question 33. You have an on-premises server that contains a folder named D, Important Data. You need to copy the contents of D Important Data to the public container in an Azure storage account named AZ-104 Data. Which command should you run? This question is about using AzCopy to upload a whole folder to a blob container in Azure storage. You must choose the correct AzCopy subcommand and parameters for a directory upload. Correct answer: C. The AzCopy copy command is used to copy data from a local folder to a blob container, and recursive ensures all subfolders and files inside DData are included. The destination URL https az104data.blob.core.windows.net public points to the public container in the AZ-104 data storage account, which matches the requirement. Why the other options are wrong? Option A, just a URL, not a command. It does not perform any copy operation. Option B, AzCopy Sync is for synchronizing source and destination. Snapshot is not appropriate for a simple one-time upload of folder contents. Option D, AZ Storage Blob Copy Start Batch is an Azure CLI storage command typically used for server-side copy operations between storage accounts, not simple local to blob uploads. Quick memory tip: local folder blob container, use AzCopy copy folder, container URL, recursive. Question 34. You have an Azure subscription named Subscription 1. Subscription 1 contains a resource group named RG1. RG1 contains resources that were deployed by using templates. You need to view the date and time when the resources were created in RG1. Solution: from the Subscriptions blade, you select the subscription and then click Programmatic Deployment. Does this meet the goal? Options: A, yes, B, no. Again, the question is about finding creation timestamps for resources deployed via templates in a resource group. You must decide if the programmatic deployment area is the right place to look. Correct answer: no. To view when resources were created in RG1, you should use RG1 deployments, which shows each template deployment and its time. The programmatic deployment or similar subscription level area does not show per resource creation times in RG1. Why the other option is wrong? Option A incorrectly claims that programmatic deployment provides per resource creation timestamps, which it does not. Quick memory tip. For when was this created? Always think resource group deployments, not subscription level blades. Question 35. You have an application deployed in Azure. This application is hosted on a virtual machine called Demo VM. The virtual machine was deployed using a resource manager template called demo.json. The question asks whether you can use demo.json again to redeploy or manage this VM. Options: A, yes, B, no. This question is about what Azure Resource Manager AZ templates are for and whether they can be reused to redeploy or manage existing resources. You must understand the declarative nature of ARM templates. Correct answer: yes. ARM templates are declarative JSON files that define infrastructure. If Demo VM was deployed from demo.json, that template can be reused to redeploy, update, or recreate the VM configuration in a consistent way. This repeatability and automation is one of the main benefits of ARM templates. Why the other option is wrong? Option B suggests the template cannot be reused to manage the VM, which contradicts how ARM templates are designed to work in Azure. Quick memory tip: ARM template equals blueprint. You can reapply the same blueprint to deploy or update resources. Complete notes and practice sets are available on Tech Cloud Solution if you want deeper preparation. Question 36. You have an Azure subscription named Subscription 1. Subscription 1 contains a resource group named RG1. RG1 contains resources that were deployed by using templates. You need to view the date and time when the resources were created in RG1. Solution: from the RG1 blade, you click Automation Script. Does this meet the goal? Options: A, yes, B, no. Again, this is about finding deployment timestamps for resources in a resource group. You must distinguish between automation script and deployments. Correct answer: no. The automation script blade generates an ARM template representation of the current resource group, but it does not show when each resource was created. To see creation time from template deployments, you need RG1 deployments, which lists deployments with timestamps. Why the other option is wrong? Option A would incorrectly treat the automation script view as a deployment history view, which it is not. Quick memory tip: automation script equals export template now. Deployments equals history plus timestamps. Question 37. You have an on-premises file server named Server 1 that runs Windows Server 2016. You have an Azure subscription that contains an Azure file share. You deploy an Azure File Sync storage sync service, and you create a sync group. You need to synchronize files from Server 1 to Azure. Which three actions should you perform in sequence? Options: A, create an Azure on-premises data gateway. Install the DFS replication server role on Server 1. Create a recovery services vault. Install the Azure File Sync agent on Server 1. B, install the Azure File Sync agent on Server 1. Register Server 1. Add a server endpoint. C, create an Azure on-premises data gateway. Register Server 1. Add a server endpoint. This question is asking for the correct sequence of steps to connect an on-prem file server to Azure File Sync. You must know the required components for Azure File Sync. Correct answer: B. Install the Azure File Sync agent on Server 1. Register Server 1. Add a server endpoint. To use Azure File Sync, you first install the Azure File Sync agent on Server 1 so it can talk to the Storage Sync service. Then you register Server 1 with the Storage Sync service. And finally, you add a server endpoint that maps a local folder on server 1 to the Azure file share, enabling sync. Why the other options are wrong? Option A uses an on-premises data gateway, DFS replication, and a recovery services vault, none of which are required for Azure File Sync. These are for different services, Power BI, Logic Apps, on-prem replication, and backup. Option C includes an on-premises data gateway, which is unrelated to Azure File Sync. Even though Register Server 1 and Add a Server Endpoint are correct, the extra wrong step makes the sequence invalid. Quick memory tip: Azure File Sync sequence equals agent, register server, add server endpoint. Question 38. You are using an Azure subscription with data deployed in the following Azure services: DB1 in Azure SQL Database, Container 1 in Blob Storage, Share 1 in Azure Files, Table 1 in Table Storage. You plan to export data by using an Azure import-export job named Data Export. Which data can be exported by using Data Export? Options: A, DB1, B, Container 1, C, Share 1, D, Table 1. This question is about what types of data Azure Import-Export can export from Azure to shipped drives. You must know which storage services are supported. Correct answer: B. Container 1, Azure Import-Export, supports data import and export for Azure Blob Storage containers. So Container 1, a Blob container, can be exported by Data Export. The service is designed specifically for large data transfers into and out of Blob storage using physical drives. Why the other options are wrong? Option A, DB1, Azure SQL Database, is not directly supported by import-export. Database exports use backpack files or backup restore processes. Option C, Azure Files Share 1 is not supported for import-export jobs in this classic exam scenario. Option D, Azure Table Storage is not supported as a direct import-export source. You use tools like AzCopy or custom code instead. Quick memory tip for import-export: think Blob containers first. Other services need different migration methods. Question 39. Your company has an Azure account and subscription. A virtual machine named Demo VM is created as part of the subscription. There is a requirement to protect the virtual machine using Azure Backup. You need to apply a rule that the backups must be created every day at 12 and stored for a minimum of 45 days. Which of the following is used to store the backups? Options: A, Blob Container, B, File Share, C, Recovery Services Vault, D, Storage Account. This question is about where Azure VM backups are stored when using Azure Backup. You need to know the special resource that manages and stores backup data. Correct answer: C, Recovery Services Vault. VM backups created by Azure Backup are stored in a Recovery Services Vault, which also holds backup metadata and retention settings. The vault is the central place to manage backup schedules, retention, 45 days, and restore operations. Why the other options are wrong? Option A, a Blob container underlies the vault storage but is not configured directly by you for VM backups. Option B, a file share cannot be used to store Azure VM backups from Azure Backup. Option D, a storage account alone is not sufficient. Azure Backup wraps storage inside a Recovery Services Vault abstraction. Quick memory tip: Azure VM Backup equals always think Recovery Services Vault, not plain storage accounts. Question 40. Your company has an Azure account and subscription. A virtual machine named Demo VM is created as part of the subscription. There is a requirement to protect the virtual machine using Azure Backup. You need to apply a rule that the backups must be created every day at 12 and stored for a minimum of 45 days. Which of the following can be used to configure the backup rule? Options: A, a backup policy, B, a batch job, C, a batch schedule, D, a recovery plan. This question focuses on how you define schedule and retention for Azure VM backups. You must recognize the Azure Backup concept that holds schedule and retention settings. Correct answer: A, a backup policy. A backup policy in Azure Backup defines when backups run, e.g. daily at 12, and how long they are retained, e.g. 45 days. You assign the VM to this policy, so the service automatically applies the configured schedule and retention. Tutor update: Azure Backup still uses recovery services vaults and backup policies for VM backup. This terminology remains current. Why the other options are wrong. Option B, a batch job is a general scripting automation concept, not an Azure Backup construct for VM schedules. Option C, a batch schedule is not part of Azure Backup. Scheduling is controlled through backup policies, not Azure Batch. Option D, a recovery plan is used with Azure Site Recovery for orchestrated failover, not for backup scheduling. Quick memory tip. When and how long to back up that lives in the backup policy, applied through a recovery services vault.